Hi guys, Mrs. Centel here. I'm talking to you or coming to you from my office today since my media center is being used for earthquake challenge projects and my green screen is being used right now. So I didn't want to wait. I wanted to jump in and share a few books with you because I have so many exciting new books. And as soon as my system's back in full working in full order, then I'll be able to get those books out. And I hope that you guys will find a bunch of stuff that you like. But I want to share a few that caught my attention. So the first one I was really excited to get was The Season of Styx Malone. I was excited about this because I've seen it all over the place, so I know it's going to be a good one. This is actually a different cover than the one that I've seen before because this is the soft cover copy. And I think this cover art is so neat. So knowing a little bit about this book, I know that this character here is Styx Malone, the main character. And he's looking at two brothers who he meets and who he kind of takes under his wing. And some pretty crazy, funny stuff happens as a result from what I hear. And on the back it says, friendships are forged, loyalties are tested, and miracles just might be possible. Caleb Franklin and his brother, his big brother, Bobby Jean, so that's the two of them there, Caleb here and Bobby Jean, have the whole summer to explore the woods in Sutton, Indiana. Caleb longs to venture beyond their small town, but his dad likes the family to stay close to home. Then Caleb and Bobby Jean meet new neighbor Styx Malone. Styx is 16 and he oozes cool. He promises the boys that together they can pull off the great escalator trade, a way to turn one small thing into more and more until they achieve their wildest dream. But as the trades get bigger, the brothers find themselves in over their heads. Styx has secrets and Caleb fears their whole plan might fall apart. So again, I really love this cover because I feel like it's a really neat artistic way of kind of suggesting that kind of relationship that how the impact, I guess, that Styx has on these two brothers. So I'm going to read you guys a little bit from this book because I think it's written in a really neat way, and I hope that it's something that you might like to borrow. So it says, Chapter 1, Extraordinary. Styx Malone didn't believe in miracles, but he was one. Until he came along, there was nothing very special about life in Sutton, Indiana. Styx came to us like magic, the really, really powerful kind. There was no grand puff of smoke or anything, but he appeared as if from nowhere, right in our very own woods. Maybe we summoned him, like a superhero responding to a beacon in the night. Maybe we just plain wanted everything he offered. Adventure, excitement. The biggest trouble we've ever gotten into in our lives, we got into with Styx Malone. It wasn't Styx's fault entirely, and usually I'd be quick to blame a mess like this on Bobby Jean, but no matter how you slice it, this one circles back to me. It all started the moment I broke the cardinal rule of the Franklin household. Leave well enough alone. I think I'll stop there. I think that's kind of like a good cliffhanger for you. So I'm excited about this one. I hope that you're excited about this one too. Available at the Puma Den. Our next one is called Lalani of the Distant Sea, and I just thought this cover was so beautiful. And I'm familiar with Erin and Trada Kelly because I read her book Hello Universe, and actually her niece goes to school in our district, so that's really a kind of cool fact. It says on the cover of this one, it says, a lush and mysterious fable full of beauty, full of wonder, and that was stated by Rebecca Steed, who is the author of When You Reach Me. It says, fast-paced and full of wonder, this is a powerful, gripping must-read. And that's the Kirkus Reviews. And this is so beautifully, this description here on the back, I think it's just so beautifully written. She arrived one morning like a ghost. No, not a ghost. She was an ordinary girl made of flesh and bone. She arrived when the morning sun was just hitting the water. She was paddling a small scouting boat with a pahulusk at her side. She was Lalani of the Distant Sea. What a pretty name, Lalani. Sometimes you choose yourself. Lalani Sarita faces an impossible future. Her mother has fallen ill and is unlikely to recover. Drum and Cool her stepfather and stepbrother are cruel and vindictive overlords. There is only cleaning and cooking and mending and errands. For someone such as Lalani, life on San Lagita involves little else. Lalani Sarita faces an impossible task. She only wanted to save Topi. She only wanted to help her best friend Veda. But everything is her fault. Everything. The rain, coming now in torrents and causing unspeakable disaster, is all her fault. So Lalani does what only one girl on the island of San Lagita has ever done before. She slips into a small scouting boat and sets out across the veiled sea, looking for a different future. That other girl never returned. Well, Lalani, sometimes you choose yourself. A triumphant tale about fighting for the people one loves and staying true to oneself. And that was by Publishers Weekly Starred Review. And again, even the title page has this beautiful artwork. It says illustrations by Leon Cho. So I'm wondering if there's not really any illustrations here. Oh, there's a couple. There's a few little illustrations throughout, but it's not too many. Let's see. Got a picture of, I guess, her travel. That's the veiled sea where she sets out. And there's a picture of her, Lalani. So there are some pictures in here. It says, there are stories of extraordinary children who are chosen from birth to complete great quests and conquer evil villains. This is no such story. Sometimes you are an ordinary child. Sometimes you choose yourself. Come closer. Nestle deep. Travel now to two mountains. They are alive, at least to those who live among them. One of them towers darkly. It casts a shadow of vengeance, impatience, and fear. The San Lagitans call it Mount Kana. The other mountain, if you can call it that, is bathed in light. Set foot here, and you will have all of life's good fortunes, whatever those may be. This is Mount Isa. You can't see Isa now. No human has ever laid eyes on her. Nevertheless, the San Lagitans are certain the mountain calls to them. They die trying to answer. They attempt journey after journey. They are pushed by their faith, not knowing that they believe in the wrong things. Their ships sink. Their hearts break. And yet they make the trip, because they feel Isa's presence on an invisible horizon, somewhere far away, yet close enough to touch, somewhere beyond the distant sea. I love when you hit that part of the story where you hear the title of the book. Not often that close to the beginning, but I always get excited when I'm like, oh, okay, that's where they got the title from. Okay, so the first chapter is called The Three of Them. 12-year-old Lalani Sarita had heard the story of the mountain beast many times. She knew of his mangled face, his house of stolen treasures, and his penchant for evil trickery, but she begged to hear it all again anyway. It was the perfect night for ghost stories. The moon cast a bluish glow through the slats of the Yuzi house, and jars of bulb flies shined like stars in the corners of the front room. Lo Yuzi leaned forward in her rocking chair to eye the members of her audience closely. They were three of them, of course. Lalani, her best friend Veda, and Veda's younger brother, Hetsby. Imagine you are an old man, Lo Yuzi, who was Veda and Hetsby's mother, said. She spoke in the lowest of whispers, and the chair creaked when she moved. Her hands, rough and scarred from years of pulling plants, sat folded on her lap. Your face is weary with wrinkles, and your nose is missing. Lalani pressed her palms to her cheeks and pulled them down, imagining her face sagging with age. Hetsby, who was only 1 year younger than the girls, laughed behind a closed fist. You live on Mount Kana, Lo Yuzi continued. You spend your days all alone, dreaming of your other life, when you had friends and family. But you know that this life is what you're due, because of all your sins. And one day, a brave but frightened boy decides to climb the mountain, even though all the villagers tell him not to. Her expression darkened. Mount Kana doesn't wish to be disturbed, the villagers say. It will eat you alive. She snatched at the air in front of their faces and they all flinched, even though she'd done this dozens of times before. And you know they're right, because the mountain only loves evil things, like you. But this boy doesn't listen to the villagers. He fills his lucky bronze canteen and sets out anyway, and this makes you happy because... Wait, said Hetsby, frowning. You forgot the eyes. Oh, right. Lalani realized that too. The eyes were the most important part of the story. Veda tossed her long raven hair over her shoulder and braided it. Sometimes she did this when she was impatient. Ah, yes, the eyes, Loyuzi said. She sighed and leaned back. Creak. I suppose we have to start again another time. Just backtrack a little bit and we can keep going, said Lalani quickly. I'd rather start a new path than trace the old ones, Loyuzi said. Besides, it's time for sleep. We need to wake as early as we can to beat the sun. But there was no point in that, and they all knew it. There'd been no rain for months, and the heat was relentless. It didn't matter what time you woke up, you were going to sweat. Veda was already half standing. Loyuzi snapped her fingers toward her daughter and motioned for her to sit back down. We have benediction. Veda sighed and took her seat again. Loyuzi bowed her head. Lalani did too. Mount Kana, they all said in unison, although Lalani suspected Veda wasn't saying a word. Spare us another night. Remain quiet and peaceful in our gratitude. Once they were nestled in their Ustrum-stuffed blankets, which splayed across the floor of the sleeping room, Veda grumbled, as usual, about the benedictions. It's so silly, she whispered. She turned on her side to face Lalani. Loyuzi was in the basin room, rinsing the vegetables they'd picked earlier that day. Why are we asking a mountain to remain quiet? Mountains are mountains. Don't say that, said Hespy. Lalani didn't know another boy who spooked as easily as Hetsby. Maybe because he didn't have a father to show him all the ways of men. Then again, many boys didn't. Not if they were children of sailors, as the three of them were. So that's Lalani of the Distant Sea. And the last one I grabbed is called Shine, and it's by JJ and Chris Grabenstein, who are the authors. This is the best-selling author of Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. And James Patterson says of this book that it's inspirational, commonsensical, and a whole lot of fun. And it says here, in a school full of stars, is there room for one more? On the back, it said, astronauts made it to the moon. Can Piper make it through middle school? And we have some different reviews from authors. Jennifer Holm says, Shine will put a smile on your heart. Read this book. And she's the author of The 14th Goldfish. Rebecca Steed says, a reminder that nothing is more important than being a friend and being yourself. And then Wendy Mass, who actually went to Livingston School District, went to all of the schools in the district, says, shine more than shines. It glows. My 12-year-old summed it up in one word, beautiful. Who do you want to be? And not when you grow up, right now. Shine on might be the catchphrase of Piper's hero, astronaut, astronomer, and television host Nellie Dumont Frisé. But Piper knows the truth. Some people are born to shine, and she's not one of them. This fact has never been clearer than now. Since her dad's new shop has landed them both at Chumley Prep, an exclusive private school where everyone seems to be the very best at something and where Piper definitely doesn't fit in. When a mysterious alum launches a new award, the whole school goes into overachieving overdrive to win it. There is no way Piper can compete. Unless, is Piper finally ready to step out of the shadows? Can she stay true to herself and still find a way to shine? And I'll read you a little bit of this one too. In chapter 1, Starry, Starry Night. Some people are meant to shine. Others are better off blending in. Me? I'm a blender. But tonight is one of the biggest nights ever for my dad, so I'm here to help. Dad's singers are on stage at the Municipal Auditorium waiting for the curtain to rise. I'm off in the wings, dressed in black, trying to disappear. My dad, Marcus Milley, is a music teacher at Fairview Middle School. His a cappella group has finally, for the first time in recorded history, by some sort of miracle, made it all the way to the biggest show in town, the finals of the winter sing-off. The place is packed. The local news crews are here too, taping reports for their 11 o'clock broadcasts. The finals, I hear the reporter from Channel 8 say into the camera. You can't get much closer to the big finish than that. Dad's group sailed through the first 2 rounds with their mashup of Let It Snow and Winter Wonderland, which, by the way, sounded even better on a stage sparkling with glittery spray can snow. Now they just have to do one more song for the judges, and they'll do it without instruments or even a piano, because that's what a cappella means. It's all vocals and shoop-shoops and mouth noises. I don't go to Fairview. I'm a 7th grader at West Side. That's a good thing. Music is Dad's life, and even though I'm related to the director, I don't sing well enough to make the Fairview choir, or any choir, because I can't carry a tune in a lunchbox. At home, I don't even sing in the shower, and we definitely don't do carpool karaoke. Anyway, like I said, Dad has never come this close to winning the big countrywide holiday a cappella contest, and I've never been more excited for him. That's why I volunteered to be his assistant and help out backstage. Dad and his singers are the main attraction. I'm just a moon orbiting their planet. This is it, Piper, says Dad, his eyes twinkling with excitement. You've got this, I tell him. We fist bump on it. The curtain will go up for everybody's final songs in 7 minutes. I can see other choirs waiting in the wings. Some are in red and green outfits, others in sparkling blue and silver. The backdrop is a row of Christmas trees flanked by a cardboard menorah and a Kwanzaa candle set. Dad's group is totally focused, doing their vocal warm-ups. They limber up their lips with a tongue twister. Suddenly, I hear a cough. Dad twirls around. Now there's panic in his eyes. One dry throat in the soprano section could ruin everything. That's exactly what happened at the Nationals last year. Dad and I watched it on YouTube. A coughing fit took down the top team in the country. A girl up front was hacking so much during Let It Go that she sounded like a high-pitched chihuahua. Water, Piper, Dad says. From the tremor in his voice, I can tell. He remembers that disaster too. Room temperature water, I add, because my scientific brain knows that room temperature water is much better for vocal cords than cold or hot. Cold water could actually hurt a singer's voice, tighten the cords when they need to be loosened. You don't want hot water either, because it can cause your pharynx to swell slightly. You should also avoid dairy. I take off, looking for a water dispenser with one of those hot taps for making tea, so I can quickly pour the perfect mix of hot and cold to achieve room temperature. On the far side of the stage, I think I see one. It's right behind a competing a cappella group, but they're not doing any last-minute vocal warm-ups. They're too busy pointing, laughing, and making fun of Dad and his singers. So we have quite a variety here. We have the two are realistic fiction. One is fantasy, but clearly the protagonists in these 2 books are very different. So hopefully there's something in here for you. And if there's not, like I said before, know that I have tons and tons of new books for you. So just check back in, hopefully this week, or if not, right after the break. But thanks for watching.